The stairwell is not meant for lingering. That is the first thing she thinks as the heavy door closes behind them with a muted thud, sealing out the noise of the great hall above. The second is that she should not have followed him. Not here, not now, not when the keep is still alive with voices and movement. Stone steps spiral downward, narrow and uneven, lit by wall torches placed too far apart to fully banish the shadows. The air is cooler here, damp with the scent of old stone and iron, carrying faint echoes from below. She stops after the third step. He does not. The Duke continues down 2 more steps before he realizes she is no longer behind him. He turns slowly, the motion unhurried, as though he had expected this pause all along. "This is far enough," she says. "Yes," he replies. "It is." And yet he does not come back up. He remains where he is, one hand resting lightly on the stone wall, his posture relaxed, his attention fully on her. "You shouldn't have come this way," she adds. "No," he agrees. "I shouldn't have." The honesty unsettles her more than denial would have. Above them, laughter spills faintly from the hall. Someone enjoying the last of the evening wine, someone unaware of how close the Duke has come to stepping outside the shape of expectation. "You asked me to follow," she says. "I didn't," he corrects gently. She frowns. "You looked at me." "Yes." And waited. "Yes." And then turned without saying a word. "Yes." She exhales. That is asking. He considers that. "Then you chose to answer." The stairwell feels narrower now, the curve of stone enclosing them in a way the open hall never could. She grips the banister beside her, the iron cool beneath her palm. "This isn't appropriate," she says. "No," he agrees. "And you're not going to apologize." "No." Her pulse quickens. "People will notice you've gone," she says. "Yes. And they'll notice if I don't return." "Yes." "You're making this difficult." "Yes." The word lands with quiet certainty. She takes another step down despite herself, closing the distance just enough that the torchlight catches both of them now. The Duke's expression is calm, attentive, unreadable. "You're blocking the way," she says. "I'm standing on the stairs," he replies. "You can pass." She looks down a narrow spiral, then back at him. "You know that's not what I meant." "Yes." He does not move. Footsteps echo faintly below them. Guards or servants. It's impossible to tell. The sound carries upward, then fades, leaving behind the awareness that this stairwell is not truly private. "You shouldn't be here with me," she says. "No, and yet you are." "Yes." She swallows. "You didn't plan this," she says. "No, but you're not stopping it either." "No." The pattern is becoming familiar, and that realization sends a shiver through her that has nothing to do with the cool air. "You stepped away from the hall," she says. "Yes, and you knew I'd follow." "I hoped," he corrects. She tightens her grip on the banister. "You're very confident." "I'm very aware," he replies. The echo of voices drifts down again, closer this time. Someone laughs, the sound bouncing off the stone. "You should move," she says. "So should you," he replies. Neither does. The moment stretches, heavy but controlled, until the sounds above shift. Footsteps moving away, conversation fading. Silence settles again. "You're waiting," she says. "Yes." "For what?" "For you to decide whether this ends here," he replies. She lets out a slow breath. "You're putting this on me." "I'm giving you the choice," he corrects. She studies his face, searching for urgency, for hunger, for any sign that he is about to take what she has not offered. There is none. "That's not fair," she says. "No," he agrees. "But it is honest." She shifts on the step, her skirts brushing the stone. The movement brings her closer without intention, the narrowness of the stairs doing the rest. He notices immediately. "You stepped down," he says. "Yes." "And you didn't step back." "No." The awareness sharpens. "You're very observant," she murmurs. "It's part of surviving court," he replies. "And part of being dangerous," she adds. "Yes." The word hangs between them. Another set of footsteps echoes from below, louder now, closer. She stiffens instinctively. The Duke does not. Instead, he leans in slightly, not enough to touch, but enough that his presence shields her from view down the spiral. The movement is protective rather than possessive, and it happens without hesitation. "You're blocking the view," she whispers. "Yes. And you didn't ask." "No. Well, you did it anyway." "Yes." The footsteps pass beneath them, voices murmuring, unaware of how close they are. The sound fades, leaving behind a charged quiet. Her heart is pounding now, loud in her ears. "You didn't have to do that," she says. "I know," he replies. "But you chose to." "Yes." She exhales shakily. "You're very close," she says. "Yes. And you could step back." "Yes. But you won't." "No." The torchlight flickers, casting shadows that make the stairwell feel even more enclosed. She is acutely aware of the stone at her back, the iron banister beneath her hand, the warmth of him in front of her. "This is a mistake," she says. "Yes. And you're continuing anyway." "Yes." She closes her eyes briefly, steadying herself. "You haven't touched me," she says. "No. And yet this feels intimate," he supplies softly. She opens her eyes sharply. "Don't." "I won't," he replies. "Unless you want me to." The offer is quiet. Real. She looks at his mouth then. Only for a second, only long enough to register the thought before she can stop it. He notices. "You looked," he says. "Yes. And you didn't turn away." "No." The truth hums between them. "You're very dangerous," she whispers. "Yes. And you're doing this without force." "Yes." The stairwell feels impossibly small now, the space between them reduced to something electric. "You should go back," she says. "I will," he replies. "If you ask me to." She hesitates. That hesitation matters. "I didn't come here for this," she says. "No, but you followed." "Yes. And now you're standing where you shouldn't." "Yes." She draws a slow breath, the decision settling before she fully understands it. She begins, then stops. He waits. "Don't move," she says finally. He doesn't. The stillness deepens, thick with awareness. The echo of footsteps returns, closer, clearer this time. Someone is ascending. Her eyes widen. "They're coming up," she whispers. "Yes. And they'll see us." "Yes. You should move." "No. You're going to get us caught." "Yes." Her pulse spikes. Before she can think better of it, she reaches out, gripping the front of his tunic lightly, pulling him closer into the curve of the stairwell, away from the direct line of sight. The contact is brief, unmistakable. He stills completely. "You touched me," he says quietly. "Yes. And you didn't ask me to step back." "No." The footsteps draw nearer, voices rising. She realizes suddenly how close they are, how easily someone might see the angle of his body, the way her hand grips his tunic. "Don't look down," she whispers urgently. "I'm not," he replies. The footsteps reach the turn of the spiral. Shadows shift. A torch flares. Without thinking, she leans forward. The kiss is brief, barely a touch, lips meeting his for the space of a breath. But it is enough to still everything. He does not deepen it. He does not pull away. He accepts it exactly as it is. Footsteps pass. Voices fade. The stairwell exhales. She pulls back first, breath unsteady, heart racing. She begins, then stops. He watches her, expression unreadable, gaze steady. "You kissed me," he says softly. "Yes. And you didn't hesitate." "No." She swallows hard. "This changes things," she whispers. "Yes," he agrees. "And you're not pretending it does it." "No." The torchlight flickers again, illuminating the space between them. "You kissed me in the stairwell," he says. "Yes." And footsteps echoed below. "Yes." The truth settles between them, heavy and undeniable. "And now," he continues, "we can't pretend this was an accident." She nods once, the weight of it pressing in. "No," she says. They stand there in the narrow stairwell, the keep breathing around them, the moment suspended but no longer unspoken. And as she steadies herself, one thought rises above the rest. This did not begin with a kiss. It began the moment neither of them turned back. The stairwell does not immediately release them. Even after the footsteps fade and the echo dissolves into the deeper quiet of the keep, neither of them moves. The torch flickers, casting light unevenly across the stone, and for a moment the world feels narrowed to the curve of the stairs and the space they occupy within it. She's the first to breathe properly. The inhale is sharp, involuntary, followed by a slow exhale meant to steady herself. Her hand still grips the front of his tunic. She becomes aware of it all at once, as if sensation has returned in a rush. She releases him. The withdrawal is careful, deliberate, an undoing that does not deny what has just occurred. "You shouldn't have done that," she says quietly. "Yes," he replies. The agreement unsettles her. "You're not even arguing." "No." "And you're not pretending it didn't happen." "No." She lifts her gaze to his, searching his expression for something. Regret, urgency, triumph. There is none. Only tension. "You didn't move," she says. "No." "You didn't deepen it." "No." "You didn't pull away either." "No." The truth of it hangs between them. "That was reckless," she adds. "Yes." "And you let it happen." "Yes." Her pulse thrums, still too fast, too loud. "You could have stepped back," she says. "Yes." "But you didn't." "No." The narrowness of the stairwell presses in again, reminding her how close they still are, how easily one step could bring them back into contact. "We should go," she says. "Yes." But again, neither moves. Footsteps echo, faintly from somewhere far above, then disappear. The keep settles into its night rhythm once more. "You kissed me," he says again, not as accusation, not as claim. "Yes." "And you did it to avoid being seen." "Yes." "But you didn't stop once the wrist passed." "No." She exhales slowly. "That matters," he says. "Yes," she replies. "It does." She takes a step upward this time, testing whether the moment will break if she does. He shifts slightly to allow it. Not blocking, not retreating. The courtesy steadies her. "You're not trapping me," she says. "No." "And you're not following." "No." She pauses on the step above him, then turns back. "You're very careful," she says. "Yes." "And you're still dangerous." "Yes." The admission is calm, not boastful. "We can't stay here," she says. "No." "And we can't return together." "No." The implication settles. "If we go back now," she continues, "people will notice." "Yes." "And if we linger." "Yes." She closes her eyes briefly. "This is exactly why this shouldn't have happened." "Yes." "And yet," he says, "it did." She opens her eyes and looks at him fully now, the torchlight catching in his gaze. "You're not asking for secrecy," she says. "No." "And you're not offering excuses." "No." She nods once. "Then we do this properly," she says. He waits. "We separate," she continues. "You return to the hall. I wait." "Yes." "And we don't pretend this was nothing." "No." "And we don't act on it again tonight." "No." The firmness of his agreement surprises her. "You're not pushing," she says. "No." "But you're not stepping back either." "No." The line is held, cleanly, deliberately. She turns away then, climbing the stairs slowly, aware of his presence behind her without needing to look. At the landing, she pauses. "You kissed me," she says again, quieter now. "Yes." "And you didn't stop when I leaned in." "No." "But you didn't take more." "No." She nods, satisfied for now. "I'll return in a moment," she says. "Yes." "And you won't follow." "No." She steps through the doorway into the hall, the noise washing over her immediately. Laughter, voices, the scrape of chairs. She keeps her pace steady, her expression composed, as though nothing has shifted beneath the surface. Behind her, the stairwell door closes softly. She does not look back. The hall feels different now. Not louder, not brighter, but sharper. Every glance seems weighted, every brush of fabric against skin suddenly noticeable. She moves through the crowd with care, stopping briefly to exchange polite words, to accept the cup she does not drink from. Her thoughts remain anchored to the stairwell, the narrow curve, the torchlight, the feel of stone at her back. And the kiss. It had not been hungry. It had not been rushed. It had been precise. That, more than anything, unsettles her. She senses him before she sees him. The Duke has returned to the hall, positioned near the far end where the light dims and the conversations thin. He does not seek her out. He does not approach. He simply exists, visible, composed, unchanged. And yet everything is changed. When their eyes meet across the room, it is brief, measured, enough. She turns away first, the decision deliberate. Later, as the gathering thins and the hour grows late, she makes her exit quietly. No one stops her. No one questions it. The corridor beyond the hall is cooler, the stone walls holding the night close. Her steps echo softly as she walks, the sound grounding. She reaches her chamber and closes the door behind her, leaning against it for a moment longer than necessary. Only then does she allow herself to breathe. The kiss replays, not the contact itself, but the restraint around it. The way he had accepted it without claiming more. The way he had held the moment exactly where it was. She presses her fingers briefly to her lips, then lowers her hand. This cannot remain unspoken. Morning comes quickly. The keep wakes early, the air brisk with purpose. She rises before the bells, dressing carefully, choosing garments that are neither severe nor indulgent. She does not armor herself. She steps into the day prepared. The council chamber fills steadily. She takes her place as she always does, composed, attentive. The Duke arrives shortly after. This time, when he looks at her, there is no flicker of surprise, only recognition. The meeting proceeds as expected. Matters are raised, debated, resolved. She contributes where necessary. He listens. Others notice the ease of it, the way their exchanges require fewer words, the way his gaze settles on her when decisions sharpen. By the time the council adjourns, the air hums with quiet speculation. As the others begin to leave, he speaks. Stay. She does. The chamber empties. He waits until the doors close before turning to her fully. You kept your word, he says. Yes. You didn't avoid me. No. And you didn't act as though nothing happened. No. She meets his gaze. You kissed me, she says. Yes. And you didn't stop. No. And now, she continues, we have to decide what that becomes. Yes. The moment is no longer narrow like the stairwell. It is open, visible, unavoidable. And as they stand facing one another in the daylight, she understands with sudden clarity. What began in the shadows will not remain there. And whatever comes next will be chosen. Not hidden, not denied, but carried forward with intention. Daylight strips illusions border. That is what she learns as the council chamber empties and the last echoes of footsteps fade into the corridors beyond. The windows are tall and unforgiving, light pouring through them in pale sheets that leave nowhere to hide. Not for uncertainty, not for denial. She stands where she has always stood, hands loosely clasped, posture composed. If anyone expects her to fidget or avert her eyes now that the room is empty, they will be disappointed. The Duke does not move immediately. He lets the quiet settle, lets the moment breathe. When he finally turns to her, he does so fully. No half angles, no pretense. You didn't retreat, he says. No, she replies. And you didn't press. No, they share a look that holds more than either of them will name aloud just yet. What happened in the stairwell, she says carefully, cannot remain an accident. No, he agrees. And it cannot become gossip before it becomes truth. No, she exhales slowly. Then we need to be clear. Yes, he waits. She appreciates that he does not rush her now any more than he did then. We were seen, she says. Not directly, but people notice the absences. The timing. Yes. And people will speculate. Yes. And if we say nothing, she continues, they'll invent something worse. Yes. He inclines his head slightly. You're thinking strategically. I'm thinking honestly. The distinction matters. Then let's be honest, he says. The words are simple. They carry weight. She meets his gaze. I don't want secrecy. You won't have it. I don't want spectacle. You won't have that either. And I don't want this to become something that only exists in corridors and stairwells. No, he replies. Nor do I. The fire crackles softly behind them. A reminder that warmth does not have to burn to be real. What I want, she continues, is intention. Yes. And time. Yes. And the freedom to step away if this becomes something I cannot stand in. He studies her for a long moment, then nods. Agreed. The answer is immediate. Unqualified. That steadies her more than any declaration could have. You kissed me, she says quietly. Yes. And you did not apologize. No. And you did not claim me. No. She draws a slow breath. That was correct. I thought so. She almost smiles. Then we do this properly, she says. He waits. In the open, she adds. Yes. And slowly. Yes. And without pretending we don't know exactly where this started. He inclines his head. In a stairwell. With footsteps echoing below, she finishes. Yes. They share a look that holds the memory without indulging it. Later that afternoon, the keep hums with quiet recalibration. Nothing is announced. Nothing is denied. The Duke walks the outer courtyard with her. Not alone. Not hidden. Not arm in arm either. Their proximity is deliberate without being possessive. When he stops to speak with a visiting lord, he does not gesture her away. When she offers insight on a border matter, he listens without interruption. Eyes follow them. Whispers begin and die quickly when neither of them gives them oxygen. By dusk, the keep has accepted a new truth without being told what it is. That evening, she returns to the stairwell. Not because she is drawn to it, but because she refuses to let it remain unfinished. The torches burn lower now, shadows longer. The steps curve downward into the same narrow spiral, unchanged. Stone does not remember emotion, but people do. She pauses on a landing, listening. Footsteps echo faintly below. Not close, not threatening. She smiles faintly at the irony. You came, he says behind her. She turns. Yes. And you didn't summon me. No, you didn't need to. You stand a few steps below her this time, not blocking her path, not creating the same shape as before. We don't have to revisit this, he says. I know, she replies. But you want to. Yes. She steps down one stair. Not into him. Not away. Just closer. This is where it happened, she says. Yes. And this is where it stops being the only place it exists. He watches her carefully. You're certain? Yes. Then say what you need to say. She rests her hand lightly on the banister, grounding herself. I kissed you, she says. Because I chose to. Yes. And you accepted it without taking more. Yes. That restraint matters. It still does. She nods. Good. She steps down another stair, now level with him. We don't repeat that, she says. No, not like this. No, but we don't pretend it didn't matter. No, the stairwell feels wider now, as if the stone itself has loosened its grip. This doesn't belong to the shadows anymore, she says. No, and it doesn't belong to impulse. No, she meets his gaze fully. It belongs to intention, she says. Yes. They stand there for a long moment, neither touching, neither retreating. Then she does something unexpected. She steps past him, not brushing him, not pausing, just passing, clean, composed, deliberate. The movement says everything that needs to be said. He does not turn to follow. He lets her go. That, more than anything else, confirms the choice. In the days that follow, the rhythm of the keep settles into something new. They speak often, sometimes privately, sometimes with others present. Their conversations are unhurried, deliberate, edged with a familiarity that has not yet crossed into possession. When they disagree, they do so openly. When they align, it is obvious. No one asks questions directly. No one needs to. The truth stands where it is meant to. One evening, as the sun sets beyond the walls and the keep quiets again, she finds him in the garden overlooking the inner courtyard. Lanterns glow softly, the air cool and steady. You didn't come to the stairwell again, he observes. No, and you didn't avoid me. No. She stands beside him, close enough to be felt, far enough to remain chosen. We did this properly, she says. Yes, and we didn't rush. No, and we didn't hide. No. She turns to face him fully. You kissed me in the stairwell, she says one last time. Yes. And footsteps echoed below. Yes. And we didn't let that be the whole story. No. The lantern light softens his expression, but the steadiness remains. "This is the part people don't see," he says quietly. "What part?" she asks. "The part where we choose what comes next without spectacle." She smiles then, not wide, not triumphant, but real. That's the only part that matters. They stand there as the night deepens, the keep breathing around them, no longer hiding anything, no longer needing to. Because what began in a narrow stairwell did not end there. It moved into daylight, into consequence, into choice. And that is how it became something worth keeping.